Alright, I am back working on my crazy quilt skirt. I'm using some Color Fast shaded yellow crochet cotton that came into the thrift store, and I'm using it double wide. And what I'm doing is I did a feather stitch around the block. I will finish this piece here and show you. And now I'm going in with colonial knots and filling in the feather stitch to fill in this block. Because I'm using 2 strands, it's important that I check the back of my work frequently because the cotton doesn't always come through at the same rate. So now I'm going to go into this piece here, this hollow. Under, over, down, hold it, and pull it through. And now I'm going to check the back of my work, which is all right. So one of my followers wanted to know why it's called slow stitching. She didn't understand, or in the end, I'm speaking for her, but she felt that by calling it slow stitching, we were demeaning the art of embroidery, crazy quilting, just plain quilting. And she gave me pause to consider, why am I calling it slow stitching when what I'm doing right now is in fact embroidering on a crazy quilt, or crazy in a crazy quilt style. And what I can tell you is that by calling it slow stitching, I take pressure off myself. I'm not creating, I'm just meditatively working on my skirt, trying new stitches. So if somebody out there understands why it's called slow stitching better than me. I just like the concept of slow stitching versus embroidery. I like having it not in a hoop. I like the ability to travel with it, to just work on it where I want to and how I want to. I like using thrifted things instead of new things. I like it that it's mine and I'm not creating something that someone else is going to duplicate, or that I even want them to duplicate necessarily. pull the threads until I find the one that's that thread, because that's going to be way too big. Little loops are fine, but these big loops are not. There it is. So now because that happened, I'm just going to check the back, and that's still okay. So I'm going to continue to do all of these little colonial stitches all the way up here, and I will just show you in the next video how I'm going to finish off this piece here. See you in a few minutes. So in doing a feather stitch, I've put them in an ink for you, but you imagine 4 lines, or I do. And then I go in at the top one. And then I go, how do I do this now? I guess I'm doing these 4 lines here, so then you come in like that, go under there, then come over here, come out in the middle of that one, so I do 3 lines, I guess. Now these are by no means perfect, but I think it looks nice with these yellow colonial knots on it. And then for the last one, I just bury the thread. So there you have it. So I'm going to go back and put the yellow dots on that, and then I'm going to put some butterflies in here. Having completed all the way around, now I'm going to add little butterflies. So what I've done is I've made 2 big slashes in the size of where I want my butterflies, and that's just really to guide my stitches. And now what I'm going to do is, starting at one end or the other, whichever you want, is we're just going to color in using the color you want your butterfly to be. And then, not wanting to waste a lot of yarn, I'm coming back up right beside it, but not in the same spot. And there we just keep doing this all the way along until it's all filled in. And then I'll pick you back up again. So I've done the bodies of the butterflies. And now I'm going to come up from the back of my work. There's a knot on the other side. And I'm going to come up at the bottom of what will be the butterfly body. Come up and I'm going to go underneath all of those threads. So if you see here, I've got this back part of my needle. I'm going to come all the way down there. Put that in the center. And you see how that pulls it together like a butterfly? And now I'm going to come back down here again and do the same thing. And there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it in here, or tack it down, the body of the butterfly down. And then I'm going to come back up and do I think they're called piston stitches. Whoops. See, I came up too close. So I have to go down. And then I have to come up in a different hole, not the same hole. There it is. All right, so that's better. I'm going to come up just a little bit under that one. Come back up. Okay, now it's going to knot on me. Let's get this knot out. Alright, so there we go. See if we can get it up, all the way up. So for our piston stitch, we come up, and at the top I put two little, like a French knot. Decide how long I want my little stamen to be on the butterfly, and push it down. There it is, and now I'm going to do the other one. And there's my butterfly. And now I'm going to do that big one over there the same way. With the big one, I'm actually going to come up under my work, up a bit. So I'm going to come up here a bit higher because I want it to punch up the bottom part of the butterfly as well. So I'm going to come up here, see if this works, but go back down here now. All right, so there we go. So now I'm going to go down the full length of the butterfly. Make sure I'm in the center. Oh yeah, I like that. Pull it together. And you pull it together just how much you want definition you want on your butterfly. And there it is. Push it down in. Lock that in. Now let's build our pistons, put our piston stitches in. Decide where we want, where I want. We're not doing. You're watching, I'm embroidering. Now I'm using all 6 strands for this one here, and I think I'm going to stop doing that and only use 6, because as you can see here, this one here, I use 6 for, and this 3 for, and these two I've used 6, which makes it darker. Anyway, so I'm going to leave you with these, and I'm going to finish these 3 butterflies. And here is the finished block. On my crazy skirt patch.